Chelsea 2, Wrexham 2, a draw in the first game of the USA pre-season tour. Let's talk about it. Now this is the first game of pre-season, so I was not expecting too much. It's essentially a fitness test. A lot of players getting a lot of minutes, a lot of rotation, different tactics, people playing in different positions they're not particularly used to. Now we did play two squads in two halves, and the first half we looked a lot more comfortable and a lot better, and that's purely because there was a lot more first team players in that first half squad, and players looked a bit more comfortable with the tactics and the system that Enzo Maresca is trying to instill on the team. For example, Mark Gue, he played very well, his hold-up play was great, his passing was great, he was dropping deep to receive the ball, he looked very promising, especially for an 18-year-old. Reece James looked very comfortable inverting from that right-hand side into midfield, looked like he'd played it all of his life, didn't look like too much of an issue. And this will be very surprising for a lot of you, but Robert Sanchez actually had some very good distribution in this game and can play with the ball at his feet around the back line. One thing I did notice is we look a lot more dangerous from set pieces. This is a big improvement from under Pochettino. This is where our first goal come from a set piece, a knockdown, and Nkunku with a great finish. I was also very impressed with Romeo Lavia. His distribution was fantastic tonight. In that first half, he looked very comfortable playing in that 6 role. He looked fit and raring to go, and he didn't look out of place at all. Now the second half was a completely different story. We made 10 changes. We put out a lot more of the youngsters. The only person that didn't come off was Carney Chukwuemeka, who had a good game overall, a lot more quiet in the second half, but there was not a lot of positives to take from the second half. I know that the first game of pre-season is basically a fitness test and to implement tactics and change people around. I understand that. That second half performance was very below par. Angelo made some good crosses, but a lot of misplaced passes and a lot of misplaced touches, looked very out of his depth. Gusto inverting into that midfield role didn't look too comfortable, but I think that's something he can add to his skill set and learn. We didn't get to see Viega, which I thought was very interesting. Ugochukwu scored a very nice goal, tidy finish to bring us back into the game. Unfortunately, Bergstrom did look massively out of his depth. He looked pretty shaky throughout the second half. Conceded 2 goals. Now, one of them was a really good finish, and the second one was a good finish too, but I think that, there could have been more done about it. That first goal, he wasn't going to stop. It was a great strike. But overall, he looked very shaky. Chilwell was non-existent. Broja was non-existent. Sterling had a pretty good half. He was playing direct, and that was really nice to see. Achimpong was one of the reasons we conceded that first goal. He lost possession high up. He looked out of his depth today. Like I said, Angelo didn't play very well at all, but he did show glimpses of good crosses and a few good passes in the final third. Fofana looked pretty solid. It was just nice to see him get a good run of minutes and just look comfortable on the pitch again. But overall, that second half, we were miles off of it. Now, one thing I will say, it's the first game of pre-season. There's no need to take this result so literal. Yes, we were miles off it as an overall. First half, we played a lot better. It's the first game. It's just a warm-up. It's to get minutes in for these players, to play in new positions, new tactics, settle the system in real game situations. It's not the worst result in the world, and the results really don't matter within pre-season. It's about getting ready for the new season. So overall, it wasn't a bad experience and a bad run out. I was doing a live watch along here on the channel, and I want to say thank you to everyone that jumped in. You guys were amazing for keeping me up and keeping me sane at 3 AM in the UK time. I will be live for the next pre-season game, which is on Saturday against Celtic. So if you are new around here, make sure you hit the follow button to keep updated. But let me know your thoughts on this pre-season game. Did you stay up and watch it? Did you watch the highlights? What were your overall thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you are new around here, make sure you hit that follow button.
Don't forget to subscribe and watch more about Chelsea.